NEPA Sports Extra. I'm Dave Rosengrant. On this episode, we're talking girls wrestling. Girls wrestling has come a long way over the years, but there's still a lot of work to do to get it sanctioned by the PIAA. And our guests today, Kaitlyn Pegarella and Sierra Ripka, both from Greater Nanticoke area, are helping that cause of getting the girls wrestling sport sanctioned by the PIAA. My opinion is, which really doesn't matter, I guess, to a lot of people, but my opinion is that the PIAA needs to make it easier to get this sport sanctioned. But I also understand that there's a lot of I's to dot, a lot of T's to cross to make it happen. However, I still feel that there should be some leeway with this. It's kind of like a catch-22 where they're saying you need to have such and such put out a number for participation to get it sanctioned, but they don't want to help move the process along and help get more girls interested. Something needs to happen there to get it to kind of come together. There has to be a medium. I don't know where that medium is or how to do it, but I'm not paid to make those decisions either. And I think the people who are paid to make those decisions need to come together and try to work this out. It seems like it's going to be kind of hard to up the participation in girls wrestling when you have some schools who don't want boys wrestling with girls, or vice versa. There's some, they don't want girls wrestling with boys or boys wrestling with girls, however you want to put it. So how are you going to increase participation if there's so many people who are opposed to seeing boys and girls wrestle together? Anyway, there's been a lot of improvement on this front recently, especially in our area. The Wyoming Seminary girls program has taken off, getting tons of national attention at tournaments and all over the world with just a bunch of accomplishments that they've made. And Delaware Valley recently started its own girls wrestling team. Lexia Schechterly from Lake Lehman in the Wyoming Valley Conference became the first girl to get to the district final. She lost this past year, but she got there. Also among those accomplishments, there are 5 females from NEPA who are participating in national tournaments this summer. Again, great accomplishments. They'll be going to national tournaments all over, starting very soon. And 2 of those girls are Kaitlyn Pegarella and Sierra Ripka. Again, they are our guests today. Kaitlyn is a senior-to-be at Nanticoke, and she's done a ton of stuff to help move the sport forward, including starting a girls-only club at Altered Beast, where she coaches as well. And one of the girls that she coaches and is mentoring is Sierra Ripka. Sierra will be an 8th grader at Nanticoke area, and she's going to be a force everywhere when she gets older. She's starting to be a force now. And what makes her even more likable in the wrestling community is that she turned down basketball to wrestle. So she's going to be a favorite, I think, for years to come. And without any further ado, here are Kaitlyn Pegarella and Sierra Ripka. Kaitlyn, we'll start off with you. How did you get involved in wrestling?
I've always wanted to wrestle ever since I was kindergarten. But in 3rd grade, my brother got into kindergarten. He came home with one of the flyers, and basically he handed it to my mom and was like, "Oh, I want to do this." Well, I looked at my mom and was like, "Well, I want to do it too." Well, she was hesitant at first, being mom of a girl. But she was like, okay, you'll be done in like 2 weeks and we'll be on our merry way. And it turned out I fell in love with the sport, and I've been doing it about 9 or 10 years now.
Sierra, how'd you get involved with wrestling?
Well, in 6th grade, my English teacher was passing out the flyers to join wrestling. And he only gave basketball flyers to the girls, and he wouldn't allow any of the girls to get wrestling flyers. So I didn't even think about joining wrestling at all before that. But that made me really mad because one of my other friends that are a girl, that she still wrestles, but she wanted to wrestle too. And he wouldn't let us. So we both just walked out of his class, went down to the office and took a paper and came back up and showed him that we can do it. So I decided to join off of that because I didn't believe that he should be like that. And yeah, I wanted to prove him wrong.
So you've kind of used that as motivation.
Yeah.
How did it progress after that though? Like you got the paper, and then what happened? Did you just like show up to practice one day, or what happened?
Well, I bring it home to my parents, and they didn't know how to feel. I was already signed up for basketball, and they didn't want me to do wrestling really because they didn't trust like the boys, and they didn't want me to get hurt or anything. So they're like, okay, she's not going to actually want to do it. So we found Altered Beast, this club, and they're like, oh, there's this girl practice. So I started coming here, and I was not good at all when I started it, but now I came a long way in just 2 years.
Did you wrestle junior high for Nanacoke?
Yeah, this past year
Okay.
I just did, and I did end up wrestling in 6th grade.
Okay, so
I quit basketball.
Oh, okay, so perfect story. Most wrestlers or people who follow wrestling don't seem to. I'm not going to say don't get
We don't
along.
like basketball.
Right. They don't like basketball. It's not that they don't get along with basketball players. They just don't like basketball. So you kind of fit in with that. How did you do your first couple of years?
My first year, it was kind of rough. I went in there, and there was another girl on the team, but she was like 80 pounds maybe, just 70 pounds. And I walked in there, and I was like 120 pounds. So they bumped me up to the heavyweight spot. And it was my first year, so I went against some bigger kids. But overall, I did pretty well by the end of the year. I got on how to move the bigger kids and to use their weight against them. So it ended up working out well.
Being at Nanacoke, any one of you two can answer this. Kaitlyn, it's probably better for you to answer it just because you've been around longer. But many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago at Nanacoke, there were 2 girls that came through there.
Yeah.
Crystal Danielle and Megan Coker.
I remember them.
Did they have any kind of influence on you? Because I know you were wrestling in maybe elementary school when they were in high school. So did they impact you at all?
Oh my gosh, yes. Honestly, I can't even thank them enough, to be honest. They helped me through a lot, being a girl wrestler and that kind of stuff. When the guys didn't have my back, they had my back. Crystal graduated my last year of elementary, so I didn't get a lot of a bond with her, but I really loved her too. Megan, she was there for my first junior high year, and she did not go easy on me. She pushed me to my expectations, and I can't thank her enough for that either. Both of them, they're amazing women, and they just take so much pride in what they do. It was amazing to be able to be on the mat with them.
And then they went out in the postseason, and I don't quote me on this, but I know one of them won a match at districts, and one of them was the first female to ever medal at districts. So something like that happened where one did one and one did the other. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, Did you know that? Like, did you know their postseason success and follow them when you were coming up and everything?
Yep. I would actually go and follow them around. I know at Mawa's, the one year Megan was there, and every match she had at Mawa's, I was like a little duck following her to every match she had, and I was just cheering my little heart out when I was in elementary, just watching her wrestle and beat up these boys. And I believe she actually took first that year for Mawa. for the qualifier.
So when you see them succeeding like that, and they're doing it mostly against males, I mean that's what do you think about that? What are your thoughts when you see that happening?
When I see them going against the boys and beating them, I give them all the credit in the world. They pushed their limits, they busted their butts to get where they are, and not a lot of people can do that. That's what makes just an ordinary athlete different from a wrestler. Yeah.
Sierra, did you have anyone that kind of influenced you on your path forward, or anyone that you looked up to?
The year before I joined, my mom took me to a bunch of the high school matches and junior high matches just to watch the other wrestlers. Well, to see if I actually wanted to do it and to watch and try to get a concept. I forget which one. I was little. It was before I joined, so it was 5th grade. I saw one of the girls wrestle. I don't know. It wasn't you. I watched you, and then there was another one.
Did she have blonde hair?
Yeah.
That was Megan. More than likely Megan.
Yeah. I used to love watching them just because it was a girl, and I don't know, she was just so fun to watch.
Oh, you used to watch me.
Yeah.
So you're both going to national tournaments. Kaitlyn, you're going to Tulsa for the national duels, and then Fargo for the junior nationals.
Yeah.
And Sierra, you're going to the national duels in Tulsa as well, and then you're going to Wisconsin for an individual tournament, right?
It's for the individual
the junior high individuals.
No, it's for the 14. Yeah.
Junior high.
Yeah.
Okay. But either way, you're both going to the same tournament in Tulsa. So how cool is that going to be going with someone? I mean, it's going to be bright lights, big scenery, and to be going with someone you know. Sierra, you can go first.
I'm really glad that I'm going with someone I know, but I'm also I can't wait to meet the new people on my team and to have great conversations with them. and watch them wrestle.
And Kaitlyn, for you, this is your first time going. It is your first time going, right?
For Tulsa, no. This will be my second.
Okay. So, but still heading there, I mean, it's got to be, almost humbling to be going for a second time, right?
It is quite nice, yeah. I know my first time, literally, they contacted me 2 weeks before the bus left. And it was like, hey, we got a spot open, you want to come? And it kind of just, shocked me out of the blue. I was kind of just, a little guppy thrown into this big ocean. And, I got my butt whooped the first time. But now that I know what to expect, and I can't wait to be with all my friends and, go on walks around the city again and that kind of stuff. Going to Papa John's in the middle of the night.
What are you expecting? What did you learn last year that you can take with you this year?
Out of the 5 matches that we usually have, I want to get at least 3. Hopefully all pins, but I want to at least win 3. And if I do, that's amazing, and I want to go for even more.
What's the selection process like? Do you know how you got selected or how you get picked, or?
Yeah, basically you do a couple tournaments. Depending on how you place, that's one way you could go. I went to Texas and I placed at Girl States for folk style. That's part of the way you can qualify. Other girls, they could go to an actual Tulsa qualifier and go through that kind of stuff. But a lot of the times, it's just okay, well, you're the highest ranked in PA out of the entire nation, so we're going to choose you. So it all depends. It's kind of like a game they play.
Okay. Now, we're here at Altered Beast, and you were a pretty big proponent of getting a girls-only wrestling team club started here, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it has something to do with Girl Scouts, too. Am I right?
Yeah. Basically, I want my gold award to be with wrestling. For my bronze award, my grandfather died of cancer, So I donated to the cancer and oncology. For my silver award, I made my own wreaths with my Girl Scout troop, and we put them on veterans' graves for Christmas. And for my gold award, I want to do what I love the most, and that's wrestling. So what I want to do mainly is I want to get some more schools sanctioned. That's way we're closer to actually having girls with actual wrestling teams for schools. And girls could come in and trust in their school for providing this program, not having to go against the boys. And I want them to have a safe place to come in and learn with other girls and not have that fear of being judged or having to get hurt by the boys.
How do you think it's going so far with everything you just said, with the club here and with helping in promoting the sport to the PIAA?
So far, it's actually going really well. I got to get my letters, my proposals printed out yet to send to the schools. But I've talked to a couple of them. Some of them are open to it. And with the club, little by little, girls start coming in. Not too long ago, I had an interview with News Watch 16, and a couple of the girls came in and said, hey, we saw you on TV. We wanted to try it. And just little by little, like that, we're growing. So it's getting bigger.
How does that make you feel when you see girls coming in saying, I saw you on TV and now I want to try it?
It kind of gives you like that, like a butterfly feeling. Like you got those butterflies in your stomach, like, oh my gosh, because of me, because I did this is happening, I influenced someone else. It's just a truly amazing feeling. I can't explain it. It's just one of those things where you just feel so accomplished and so happy at the same time. Yeah.
Where do you hope to see girls wrestling a year from now? Like you'll be graduating from Nanticoke a year from now. Mm-hmm. What do you hope to see? Like, what's your goal for a year from now?
A year from now, it's probably not going to happen, but I would like to see PA sanctioned. That way, Sierra can actually have a chance to wrestle other girls for the school. And that way, she could have a family, it's a wrestling family, but, that kind of thing. I want more girls to join the sport. Hopefully next year, Girls States, it isn't going to be just this little tiny, club. It's just going to be this entire auditorium, door-to-door mats, and girls wrestling on it the entire time. That's my dream for it.
Do you feel like Nanticoke is close to having a girls-only team? And the only reason I ask is because there seems to be more interest at Nanticoke than, say somewhere like, I don't know, Hanover area, for example.
Honestly, no. Honestly, I feel like Hanover would be more open to having a girls' team than Nanticoke.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason because of that, or why you think that, or is it just...
Yeah, actually, going through the Nanticoke system, as soon as I hit junior high, I've just been treated so unfairly. Stuff has happened to me. I really don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, but they didn't do anything about it. They kind of just brushed it under the rug and said, oh, yeah, it didn't happen. Go ahead and just be on your merry way. I've been treated unfairly by my coaches. They don't even buy us female cut singlets. So for other teams, though, they'll go out and buy their girls an actual female cut singlet with their logo and that kind of stuff. So it's just not going to get any closer. What do you like?
Sierra, what do you hope to see for girls wrestling in the area and in the state by the time you get to high school and even graduate from high school?
I really hope by the time I graduate, it's sanctioned, and Nanticoke definitely has a girls team, because I'm not graduating for a while.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, 5-6 years. So I hope that it does get sanctioned, and I hope it really does grow, because I love just watching other girls wrestle.
It seems like, doing some research on this for myself, there's a lot of things that the PIAA wants to happen. Like they say, well, you have to show interest in the sport. You have to have so many girls that show interest to get funding for it. But then, on the other hand, they're not doing anything themselves by saying, well, here, have some funding for this. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a catch-22 where they're telling you need to do this, but we're not going to help you. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, like, how do you think we can do that? Like, how do you think, what will make it easier?
That's actually a really hard question. I've had a couple ideas. I was thinking about sending a letter into the PIAA asking, hey, it's really hard to get 100 schools. Maybe can we bump it down to, say, like 50 or even 75, because that's even closer to our goal. Mm-hmm. But I talked to some of the head coaches for the PA team, and they don't think that would even work. So
that just seems like a no-brainer. Like they should do something like that.
Exactly.
Because I mean, even with just wrestling in general in the PIAA, there's only 2 classifications. Mm-hmm. So they're taking the teams and they're splitting them in half between the 2 because there's not that much participation to begin with in wrestling. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at baseball, basketball. There's 6 classifications, so they're like on the same level with as many teams in each class there as they would be with wrestling. So it seems like they should start off lower, But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answers, and I hope maybe one of you do. Yeah. But okay. Sierra, what do you see? What have you learned from Kaitlyn? I mean, it seems like she's been like a little type of a mentor to you.
Yeah. She really helps me and taught me how to keep fighting through everything, how to not listen to the guys, like on any wrestling team, not just Nanny Coke, because Nanny Coke, the guys are usually nice to me, but like on any wrestling team, if guys are trying to like doubt me or saying I can't do anything, just prove them wrong, because she showed me how well I can do against boys, and to keep just fighting, even in practice, just keep pushing myself and not to give up.
I'm sure you know what's going on with wrestling and girls wrestling, and this past season, Lexia Schechterly from Lake Lehman, she got to the district final, the first girl ever to get to the district final in wrestling. Is that something that you kind of look up to too? Is when you see something like that happen?
Yeah, Lexi's one of my friends.
Okay.
I look up to her amazingly. Like, she is so amazing, and she pushes so hard. Like, when she's at practice, she doesn't stop. She's always there doing the moves 110% all the time.
So when you have someone like her who's, and Kaitlyn as well, they have that work ethic, and they're pushing, and not only pushing you in the room, but making a name for girls wrestling in the area. How does that make you feel to know that you're kind of like following in their footsteps?
It just makes me feel great just to know that they're fighting for the same sport I'm trying to help grow, and just to know that they've got my back no matter what.
Kaitlyn, what is this? What has everything that you've done meant to you? And just the path you followed and the people you followed and personal life, personally going forward and your goals in school and everything like that?
Everything so far has taught me some unbelievable lessons. Actually, it taught me to push for girls like Sierra, that kind of stuff. Even though she's giving me a weird face right now. But honestly, if I could, I'd do wrestling for the rest of my life. Hopefully, somehow I could get into the military. I know they have a wrestling program there too. Hopefully I could get into them, or I could get into a college, go through them, wrestle for them, then go into the military. That's kind of my main goal. I want to go into the Army to be a vet. So hopefully somehow wrestling can play into that.
Do you see coaching in your future?
Absolutely. If I can't, do anything like that, I'm definitely going to be a coach. Ever since I was little, I actually had a coach at Phoenix, Randy Moore. He's my biggest fan. Well, one of them, besides my mom. But he's inspired me so much. He's an amazing coach. And ever since I saw him and he came up to me, he lives in Pittsburgh, and yet he travels all around just for me. And it's honestly amazing to have a coach like that. And I want to pass that down to the younger generation and be like, oh yeah, I could be that coach for you. And it's truly inspiring to have that in your corner. And I want other girls to have that same feeling.
Sierra, what are your goals in wrestling when you get to the next level?
Hopefully get into SEM. I really want to get into SEM because I think it's just great. And, or maybe, wrestle for a college, one of the big colleges. Or wrestle in the military. I actually want to wrestle in the Army. Because I've wanted to go in the Army since I was really little. And so, I hope wrestling stays with me. And I hope all my sports stay with me. I hope I just stay, overall, fit and healthy. But I really hope wrestling, I can wrestle in the future.
Do you play any other sports now? I know you talked about basketball, but is there anything else that you participate in?
Jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Softball. Soccer, but I just stopped playing soccer because I want to join football.
Anything else?
Not any ones that I play anymore.
You also mentioned Wyoming Seminary. What has Wyoming Seminary, since they're close by, obviously, what has them having a girls-only wrestling team meant to you?
It makes me it makes me feel like there's a way to grow the sport more, because there are a lot of girls teams now, and I feel like our school's seeing if SEM grows even bigger and all the girls get better. Well, I mean, they are amazing already, but as they keep growing, I feel like that would help the schools, because the schools will see what's happening and maybe they can get their girls as good as the girls in SEM.
Kaitlyn Pegarella and Sierra Ripka, thank you very much for your time.
All right.
That'll do it for this week's episode of NEPA Sports Extra. As always, give us a follow on Twitter and Facebook with our handle at NEPA Sports Extra. That is NEPA SPORTZ XTRA. And if you have a business you would like to get the word out about, or you would just like to contact us via email at nepasportsextra@gmail.com. And until next time, I am Dave Rosengrant, saying keep some extra time in your life for some sports in NEPA.